The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Hello, this is Dr. Joyce Morley with A Woman's Worth. You're in session with Dr. Joyce, and today we're going to talk about how women beat upon each other. Isn't it amazing as women how we can't hold friendships with each other? Something is wrong. The minute that a woman does the slightest little thing, what do we want to do? We want to kick her to the curb. But we don't do that with the opposite sex. We don't do that with men. Men can beat us down, throw us around, slap us down, and talk to us any kind of way, and treat us any kind of way. We give them chance after chance after chance. And sometimes we wonder why we can't have fruitful and positive relationships with men, because you don't have positive and fruitful relationships with women. It really starts with you, and then you're reaching out to your sisters. And it doesn't have to be a biological sister, but it does start in the home with your sister and your mom. How do you relate to them? What's your relationship like with them? And you talk about you're not speaking to someone. Come on, why are you not speaking to your mom? Why are you not speaking to your sister? If you're not speaking to mom and not speaking to sister, then you're not going to speak to your outside sister. And sometimes it's difficult because you look in the mirror and you see you, and you look at her and you still see you. But the bottom line is, until we can come together, until we are a united force together, we won't be able to get anywhere. We won't have arrived until all of us have arrived. And at some point it's having conversations. Get rid of the envy, get rid of the malice, this jealousy. And if you can't say something right about your sister, about this woman who you called your friend, but now she's your frenemy, come on, it shouldn't even be such a word. How do you have someone that you've laughed with, you've gone to school with, you've gone out with, you've partied with, you've had all these things, you had your children, you helped each other, you've been there, and the minute she says something that you don't like, you kick her to the curb. You stop speaking to her. You won't help her. You go out and you say shameful and disgraceful things about her to other people. Is that the way relationships are supposed to be? Indeed not. If you're going to be with someone they're truly your friend, it's a friend to the end. Now, I do know that there are some friends and some people are for a reason and for a season. There are those short-term partners. There are those who are long-term partners. There are those who are just, the meter runs out after a while. Then there are those who are lifers. But no matter who they are, begin to see the worth of having friends, female friends in your life. Because when you can have a female friend, starting with mom and your own sisters, and that you can have them, they're fruitful, they're healthy, and they're successful, it makes it a lot easier for you to have friends with women on the outside. As a matter of fact, it makes it easier for you to have relationships with men on the outside also. And sometimes I've said, you know what? Sometimes men don't want to be with her, around her. I don't want to be around her either. So if you wonder why you can't get a man, begin to look at the fact that you can't even be around a woman. Something is wrong with that. Your own worth, your own value. It looks and says the same to you when you look at your women that you're around. How do you treat them? How do you not forgive a woman who's doing you wrong, or you felt she did you wrong? And you know what? We're supposed to talk with each other and give them another chance. But the minute one thing happens, you just call it all quits. You throw in the towel and you don't speak anymore. Is that fair? And then the other thing is you're modeling. If you have daughters, you're modeling for your daughters. You wonder why your daughter has a bad attitude? Well, look at mama. It starts with you. And if you have a bad attitude and you're teaching your daughter to have a bad attitude, she doesn't see you with healthy and fruitful female relationships. Guess what? She won't know how to have them either. So you've got to begin to model for her how important it is to be able to respect mom. She starts respecting you. So when you all can't get it together, and I will never believe that mothers and daughters can have great, healthy, grand relationships together. That they can coalesce together, be able to be together, go to places together. They could just be friends together. Now there's still a division between mom and daughter because she's mama and you have to be the daughter, or your mama and it has to be a daughter. So you're not trying to take each other's place and be where each other are. But I challenge you today to that friend that was really a friend that you were friends with for 30 years, 10, 15, 20 years, and you start to stop speaking, check on them and see how they're doing. Check on 2 friends this week and see what's going on with them. And don't be afraid to ask for forgiveness if you've done wrong, but don't throw your friends away. Begin to see their value as you see the value in you. And begin to recognize that friends are important, female friends, in order for you to have male friends. You have been in therapy with Dr. Joyce, A Woman's Worth.
Did you know that 80% of businesses fail in the first 5 years? 97 of them didn't have sound entrepreneurship training. Urban Business Institute's School of Entrepreneurship is designed to teach those who dream of building a successful business without the worry of debt with our low-cost tuition. In fact, you don't pay if you don't pass or complete the course, and we help get you the startup capital needed for your business upon graduation. Urban Business Institute, we create job creators through training, consulting, funding, incubating, and ongoing support, and our Black Capital Summit, How-To Conference, and Black and in Business Annual Conference. Visit urbanbusinessinstitute.com for more information. That's urbanbusinessinstitute.com.
It won't always be new. It won't always be clean. It won't always be flawless. But it'll always be yours. So how do you know it'll be protected? To solve the big challenges of tomorrow, take simple steps today. When you're ready to start, we're ready to help with auto insurance. Get started at countryfinancial.com/simple-steps.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Hello, this is Dr. Joyce, A Woman's Worth. You're in session with Dr. Joyce today. You know, there's so many things that people go through in life, and they're trying to figure out which way to go, how to do whatever they do. Women oftentimes go through quite a bit. Sometimes they don't know how to deal with it. They're trying to figure out which direction to go and what to do. And many times it's so difficult. They're trying to find that love. They're trying to find that acceptance. They're trying to find that realization of who they are. But they're looking on the outside to fix what's going on the inside. You know, Luther Ingram once had a record entitled, "If loving you is wrong, I don't want to be right." But I'm going to flip that around today and say, if loving me is wrong, I don't want to be right. Everything starts with me and ends with me. So when you begin to look at yourself and look in that mirror, every day you should be looking in that mirror and saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the greatest of them all? It must be you, because you're looking in that mirror. You know, there's nothing wrong with loving yourself. There's nothing wrong with treating yourself out. There's nothing wrong with being with yourself, going places with yourself, because you won't be able to love anyone else until you respect and love yourself. You have to accept yourself no matter what you have, no matter where you are, no matter where you've come from. You won't be able to go anywhere until you start with you. It's all within. It's all within you. So as you're looking to find that person on the outside, first deal with that person on the inside. No one to go to the movies with you, go to the movies with yourself. No one to take you to dinner, take yourself to the movies. No one bought you flowers, buy your own flowers. No one gave you a card, buy your own card. You know, there's so many great things that you can do with you when you start loving you and recognizing there's nothing wrong with it. There's so many people out there would recognize it. As a matter of fact, the more powerful your love is for yourself, it is something that emanates to the outside. people will see it. They'll see a halo of love all around you, and they'll be more attracted to you, because when people are sure that you're confident in you, loving you, they're going to want to be embraced by you, because if you can love you and you're confident with yourself, it makes it easier for you to be able to bring someone else into your life. It's not that difficult. It's just starting out and finding 5 reasons why you should love yourself. Get out your pen and paper and begin to jot down what are those great characteristics about yourself. You think it's difficult? It's really not that difficult. Just look at yourself. Look at how beautiful you are. Look at the way you speak. Look at the things that you have. Everybody else can see it, but until you see it, it doesn't really matter. So loving you can't be wrong. And if it is wrong, you should never want to be right. You've got to give yourself permission to love you first. That gives you permission to love everybody else, because love starts from God, comes to you, and then it's everybody else. But as women, oftentimes we don't see our own worth. We don't see our own value, because we're so busy trying to take care of everybody else. We forgot the first one in order is myself. If I can't be me and not loving me, then I can't help you. So women, I'm going to challenge you to begin to love you, to begin to see those things that are great about you. You got that list? Pick that list back up. Those 5 things, can you make it 10? I know it might be a little difficult for you at this time, but there's so many great things about you. Begin to look at you. It is not just that physical. It's not the physical characteristics. What about that nice thing that you did for someone else? What about the great prayers you sing? Or what about that voice that you probably have never taken anywhere? That speaking voice, that singing voice. What about the fact that you helped 5 people last week? No one might not have helped you, but those are great, grand characteristics about yourself. And if you can't find anything great about yourself, guess what? No one else is going to find it either. So it all starts with you. It emanates from you. And it is no shame in loving you and loving who you are. It's not all about the money you have. It's not all about the material things. It's just you being you. A strong, powerful black woman. A woman of worth. A woman of value. A woman in direction. A woman with goals. A woman who says, you know what? I am somebody. And you know the reason why you're somebody? Because God does not make any junk. You are somebody. See your self-worth. Begin to value yourself. Begin to love yourself. Pick up that list again. I want you to continue to add to it. If you had 5, make it 10 by the end of the week. Continue to expand upon it, expound upon it. And you will begin to see how great, how wonderful you are. Because guess what? If loving you is wrong, you should never want to be right. The bottom line is you are somebody. You're in Dr. Joyce with The Woman's Worth.
Lord, we need you. Oh, Heavenly Father, oh, come in, come in. You are welcome, you are welcome. Lord, we need you. We can't make it without you. We can't make it without you, Jesus.
It won't always be new. It won't always be clean. It won't always be flawless. But it'll always be yours. So how do you know it'll be protected? To solve the big challenges of tomorrow, take simple steps today. When you're ready to start, we're ready to help with auto insurance. Get started at countryfinancial.com/simple steps.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Hello, this is Dr. Joyce Morley with A Woman's Worth. You're in session with Dr. Joyce. Isn't that grand that you can have an opportunity to be in session with Dr. Joyce? We're going to talk about forgiveness. That whole thing where we hold grudges against ourselves, we hold grudges against other people. We don't know when to let go. All of that impactful stuff that you hold on the inside prohibits you from being able to get to where you want to go on the outside. We don't want to forgive ourselves because something happened. Yeah, that might have been a rape. There might have been an attack. You didn't finish school. You didn't get to where you thought you should be. A failed marriage. Many failed things. But you know what? That's what life is all about. There are going to be things that we fail at. There are going to be things that we succeed at. And so sometimes it's best to look at the glass as being half full instead of half empty. It takes a lot more to fill a half empty glass than it does a half full glass. And you have beat yourself down year after year after year because of all of the things that you didn't do. I'm sure you did some things that were great, some things that were really, really important. And the bottom line is it's time for you to begin to look at yourself and say, you know what? I am worthy. I am someone. I am somebody. And when you begin to forgive yourself and let yourself be free because of all the stuff you carry, as Erica Baidu said, all the bags, the bag lady. You have a crocus sack bag, you have a plastic bag, you have a bag, you even have a paper sack bag, and you can't even find those that much. But you have every bag that there possibly could be. I'm going to challenge you to say, throw some of those bags away. As a matter of fact, empty them first. Take all the mess that you carried around, take it and throw it out somewhere. Put it in a receptacle, in a trash can, get rid of it, and then you'll begin to see how easy the load is. You're worth forgiving. You are worthy of being forgiven, but you first got to forgive yourself. And then if you can't forgive yourself, it makes it difficult for you to forgive other people. You're still worried about Bob who did you wrong and Mary who did you wrong. Mary and Bob are probably saying, who is she? I don't even remember her name. So you're carrying all this stuff in your heart. Your heart is too small to keep Mary, Bob, and anybody else in there. Why are you allowing other people to take a rent in your head and in your heart and taking up space and they're not paying rent for it? They're doing it free. So at some point you begin to say, you know what? I've got to love myself enough, value myself enough, respect and accept myself enough. Even if no one else tells you that. If you start out every day by accepting yourself, God has already done it for you, but giving yourself permission to just be you, to forgive and let go. Once you let go and give yourself permission to fail, to falter and fall, and there's nothing wrong with doing either of those. There's nothing wrong with falling, there's nothing wrong with faltering, and there's nothing wrong with failing. The problem is when you don't get back up from the fall. When you don't try to learn from faltering and from the failures, and you keep doing the same thing over and over again. You have to forgive yourself. You have to let go. And stop walking down Insanity Street. Stop being a member of the Insanity Club. Because as long as you're part of the Insanity Club, you're going to find yourself beating up yourself again and again and again. You were put here to prosper. You were put here to be free. You were put here to be you. You were put here to be the best in the world. And until you begin to let go of the mess, let go of the stress, you will never be able to do your best. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. I mean, yeah, it seems a little difficult. And let it go. Because as long as you're having mess, you cannot get to where you need to be. Let it go and you will begin to see that the heavens will open up for you. Opportunities will open up for you. As a matter of fact, your attitude will change. Your behaviors will change. Your emotions will change. How you feel about yourself will actually have an impact on how you feel about other people. And as those changes come, positive things will open up for you. As long as you keep doors of negativity open, doors of positivity will remain closed. It's time for you to begin to say, I'm going to let go, I'm going to let live, and I'm not going to deal with mess. Get rid of the stress and do your best. You can do it. I'm challenging you to be able to pick up and look at how many great things are about me. What are those things I need to forgive? Find those 5 things that you need to forgive. 5 people you need to forgive. If you don't have 5, find 2. Let it go, and I'm challenging you today. You have been here with Dr. Joyce Morley, A Woman's Worth, and you've been in therapy with Dr. Joyce.
The Women's International Network presents A Woman's Worth with psychotherapist and relationship expert, Dr. Joyce Morley. Let's explore our self-worth, poor decisions, family interactions, and more. Recognizing a woman's worth, bringing healing to the nations.
Dr. Joyce Moore, A Woman's Worth. You're in psychotherapy today with Dr. Joyce. You know, it's oftentimes we wonder why, we're not with somebody, and as women, we always want to be with somebody. There's nothing wrong with that. You can be with somebody, you should want to be with someone. But it starts with you first being with you. Being single sometimes can be difficult. Sometimes I know you walk around and say, it sucks. I don't know why I'm by myself, why I can't have somebody. Well, you know what? Sometimes you have to go that road and begin to understand, what am I looking for in a man? Why do I want to be with a man? Well, you first have to be with yourself and begin to love yourself, and after you can do that, then you can begin to find that person. But it's all a matter of being able to be single. Being able to be single by yourself and be able to say, it's okay. And I know there are a lot of single mothers out there and saying, I have these children. It's very difficult. It is. It is very difficult being a single mother. I've been a single mother myself. I know what it's like. But guess what? There are a lot of mothers who are married and have a husband and they're still single. So don't believe because you don't have someone in the house with you that you are not single. It happens. So if you're doing everything, you're having to work, you're having to bring home the bacon, cook it and all of that, make it and all of that, guess what? And nobody else is helping you, you're still single. And if there's a disrespect that's going on in that household, then it's better off. That child is better off being in a peaceful household than being in a hostile household. So being single is not that bad. Because I think the more that you can be single and be able to accept yourself, love yourself, be with yourself, respect yourself, no matter who you are, where you're going, it makes it easier for you to learn how to share with someone else when the time comes about. And so it's all about sharing. But the thing about it is learning how to not be so selfish. It's okay at times, lady, to be selfish. It's okay to go out there and buy yourself something, do some things for yourself, take yourself to the spa and all those things. Those are the attributes of being single. But just because you're being single doesn't mean that you can't laugh sometimes. Doesn't mean that you can't enjoy life sometimes. Doesn't mean that you can't take a trip sometimes. Single women do go on trips. They do things together. And so you can find some outlets. There are ministries in the church. There are other groups in the community for single women. And I believe that you have to first be single before you can learn how to be married. It prepares you So when the time comes, but if you're rushing to be with somebody and wind up with somebody who's just anybody and turns out to be nobody, you're in bad shape, you're still single. So you might as well stay single until you really can find that person that's meant for you. Now, you're probably saying, okay, I'm looking for my soulmate. Well, what is a soulmate? Was that person supposed to be connected? I think sometimes if we were to be a little more patient and not rush, wait until that person comes along that we're supposed to be with. There's something about that person and something about you that you'll know about. But too often what you do is go out and you get with anybody. And you just pick someone to just say, I have somebody. And then what about you women that say, I just want a piece of a man? If I bought you a piece of pie that I had bitten off of it, you would have had a problem with it. Matter of fact, you'd kick me to the curb. You should not want seconds of anything, a piece of anything. You should want a whole man, a man that's God-fearing, a man that respects you, a man that will love you the way he loves God. And that person can help you to say, you know what, I will give up singlehood in order to be able to be married. So when you decide that you want to throw in your single card, make sure the kind of card that you're choosing, that you're taking on. Don't just get with anybody. Don't just be with somebody just for the sake of saying, you know what, I'm no longer single. And that going out there, marrying anybody, I think the major thing is, are you evenly yoked? Are you yoked together? Do you believe in the same things? Are you in the same book? You know, sometimes you want to be on the same page, but you can't be in the same page until you're in the same book. And I want to say that you have to be in the same book, the same chapter, and you work vehemently to be on the same page. But also, being single doesn't mean that you have to pick up somebody and fix them up, clean them up. Because guess what? The average man is not going out there looking for any woman to pick her up and clean her up. He wants somebody that's ready-made. He wants someone that's going in a direction and already has something. I'm challenging you today to decide, what are you looking for? Where do you want to get to? And decide that you're not picking anybody up, you're not cleaning them up, you want something that's already there. Because guess what? You're worthy, you matter, and you deserve to have the best. When you believe it, you'll have it. And most certainly, you'll have another opportunity to be in therapy with Dr. Joyce, A Woman's Worth. Thank you for joining Dr. Joyce Morley on A Woman's Worth. And if you need a session, you can reach out to me at Praise Fest.